Do not even tell me about Drake versus Kendrick Lamar anymore, because the biggest beef of 2024 is actually Hoyoverse versus Kuro Games. The only thing that people have been excited for over the last couple of weeks has been Wuthering Waves patch 1.1, which is their first huge expansion of the game. And Hoyoverse really just said, yeah, that's a cute little patch you got there, but actually let us drop this live stream right on your head. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I do feel very pulled between two things right now, and I'm slightly reliving the trauma that I gained from my parents' divorce, but I am still super hyped for both of these games at the same time. Today though, I just wanted to talk about ZZZ because I haven't done a lot of talking about it. I've sort of been waiting for the live stream, waiting for more information to come in, and waiting closer to the release date to talk about this, but I have been planning on playing this game. So in this video, I want to elaborate a little bit about my day one plans and maybe even week one plans, depending on how lucky we get here. Before I get into specifics and more importantly, what characters that I'm going to be aiming for, I do want to mention to you all that on day one of this game's release, I will personally be streaming it on this YouTube channel, on my Twitch channel, and also just chatting about it all day on my Discord server. So please, if you'd like to join in on the fun, look at the description below to find those links and the subscribe button. Thank you. The first question that I ask myself whenever any new gacha game comes out is, do I want any of the characters enough to where I'm going to want to reroll? And generally the answer for me is yes, because I know that if I want a character and I don't get it, I'm going to be tempted every day to keep pulling on that standard banner, and that's not a situation I want to be in. So I am a re-roller faux show. Now, is this going to be a fun process in ZZZ, and is it worth it? Pridewin is saying no, because it's going to take around 30 to 40 minutes to finish the tutorial and reach the moment when you can actually start pulling. Now, this is just when you can actually start pulling. This doesn't factor in the fact that you are going to need to get to 50 pulls to guarantee that first 5-star before you even, pull and roll the dice on which one you get. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get 50 pulls to actually get to that soft pity, but it could be pretty painful. I've heard from some sources it'll be 2 hours. Maybe with the pulls they give us on launch, it'll be a little less. But it's going to be a very painful process from what I can tell. They might have added some new skips in. As you can see here, Pridewin says you can't skip any of the conversations, but in the live stream, they mentioned that you're going to be able to skip a lot. Maybe this goes down a little bit, but point of the story is it's going to be a painful experience. Let me explain to you guys though why in my personal situation I am planning on rerolling, despite how excruciating it may turn out to be. And like I said, it's a very personal thing. This is only based on what I want and might not be the same for you, but let me show you why. On my ZZZ account, I know that I want 2 specific characters, and after I get those 2 5-star standard characters, I will be happy and I will not be tempted to pull on the standard banner anymore. Yeah, I would like to have all of them eventually, but there's 2 in particular that I know that I want in 1.0 and that I'm gonna be feeling like I'm griefing myself if I don't get them. And I'll get into those 2 characters in just a minute. But let me first explain to you some of the process a little more in depth, because you might be thinking at this point, well, if you want 2 specific characters off the standard banner and you're only guaranteed 1 random one after 50 pulls, aren't you just gonna have to keep re-rolling for like the rest of time to ensure you get those 2 in your first 50? And the answer is actually no, because if you're a Honkai Star Rail player, you may already be familiar with this system. On ZZZ's standard banner, after your first 300 pulls, you're going to be able to select any of the 5-star standard banner characters and receive them for free. And I'm saying that lightly because for free, right? It's like 300 pulls is no chump amount. What this means though is as long as I get one of those 2 characters that I want in those first 50 pulls, I can be satisfied, because I know that on my horizon somewhere after these 300 pulls, I can get the second one, which makes the percentages not bad. If you look here, we have 6 5-star standard banner characters on release. If I want 2 of them and I'll be happy with either of those 2, that's a 33% chance that I win on my reroll. So when you look at it that way, yeah, it could end up being a pretty bad situation, but chances are that in at least 3 rerolls, I'm going to be able to get at least one of those characters that I want, and then set myself up to get the other one within a reasonable amount of time. Okay, I've done a lot of yapping. I told you about the process. Now let me get to this part that you probably actually want to hear, and that is the 2 characters that I will be pulling for in that first day on Zenless Zone Zero. And like I said, this is just my personal wants and needs. All of these characters I think are going to be viable. This isn't a tier list video, by the way, so I mean, I didn't play the beta, so I'm not sure exactly who's like broken and who's not. There's also a bunch of changes that happen, so who knows what's going to be the meta. These are just the 2 that I've kind of landed on that I know aesthetically, kit wise, and team wise, I know that I want. The first character that I know that I will be happy with is this guy, Lycaon. I'm not sure yet how you pronounce it, but this guy right here. And the reason is I know that I'm really going to want to play this first limited character, Ellen. She's hot, she looks fun, she looks powerful. I know that I want to play Ellen, and it just so happens that Lycaon is her best support. If you're not super familiar with how this game works, each character has a faction and an element type, sort of like Genshin, and if they're paired with another character of the same element type or the same faction, for example the maid faction that both Ellen and Lycaon belong to, they're going to gain some bonuses, random bonuses depending on the character. So that already sets Lycaon up as a great support for her, and he's also a stun character, so as you can see he's going to break the characters faster in kind of Wuthering Waves terms. I think it's called Daze in ZZZ. So he can break down a boss or any enemy really quick, and then you can send Ellen in and she's just gonna pew him down real quick. So if you are a future Ellen main like I am, and you love this hot shark girl and you're gonna play her for the end of time, you're not afraid of power creep, then Lycaon might be the best option for you from the standard banner, and that's why he's one of my 2 that I absolutely need on my account. Now, the second character that I will be happy with and that I absolutely need on my account is going to be, let's see, Nekomata right here. Now she is much different from Lycaon. She's actually a main DPS. She's of the physical attribute, and the biggest thing is that she is part of the Cunning Hares faction. If you're not familiar, this is kind of spoilery, but they've said it all over the place. You'll probably see it in the first few minutes of the story. The Cunning Hares are basically the free-to-play team that you get that involves Nicole, Anby, and Billy at the beginning of the game, and Nekomata is like the 5-star person that you can get from that team as well. And she just looks like a ton of fun, looks like super snappy gameplay and not too hard, and also you'll be able to play her with those free-to-play units. I know that right when I start the game, my first units are going to be basically the best team for her. All we're going to have to do is pair Nicole and Anby with her, and we'll be all set. We'll get those bonuses, and from my understanding, they work pretty well with her and synergize well with her playstyle. And so I'm really looking for Nekomata. I think if I'm able to get Nekomata and have her, Nicole, and Anby on one team, and then I have Ellen, Lycaon, and Sokaku on one team, there's my 2 teams for the end game. So I'll be pretty much set for 1.0 and probably 1.1. And I think if I get those 2 and get those teams set up, I'm just going to be chilling and I'm going to be a happy gacha gamer. And that's really all of my plans. To answer the question of this video, is it going to be worth it to reroll? For me personally, I think it is. And for you, if you only need 2 characters, you know you'll be happy with 2 specific characters. You can plan on getting one of them from re-rolling in that first 50 pulls, and then you know you'll just have to wait for a little bit to get the second one, but you know you'll get it eventually. So I'm gonna say, if you only want 2 characters, I think it's totally worth it to re-roll. If you want any more than that, you're probably gonna have a tough time, and I would probably not even re-roll. I'd just kind of be patient and wait. Or if you really need them, just don't even try, because it's gonna be a painful process. Let me know down in the comments though, are you planning on re-rolling? What characters are you looking for? Who are you most excited for? I want to know your thoughts and opinions, please. I love to read them. So if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching the video. Please subscribe and give it a like if you wouldn't mind, and I'll be back for more very soon. Thank you so much for watching yet again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.